Hello folks, Namaste. I'm Ashwinandan. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about SQL Bootcamp tutorial number 4, which is we will learn about SQL SELECT statements. If you haven't watched tutorial 1, tutorial 2 and tutorial 3, I will highly recommend you please go ahead and watch the same. It will give you a basic idea how PG admin works, what is database, and how we can work with the different kind of database. So as I told you, today we are going to discuss about the select statements fundamentals. So let's get started. The first slide is related to the overview, and in overview we'll discuss about what is the SQL syntax. First we will discuss about this and how to write syntax, select syntax, and then whatever syntax we will learn here, it can be applied to any major type of SQL database, such as Oracle, PostgreSQL or MySQL. Any database, these syntax will work. Yes, sometimes few tweak is needed as per the different database. But most of the things you will find it as a similar one. We'll also discuss basic syntax and move forward with the advanced options. Okay. Now, what is the select statement? Let's talk about this. Select is the very common used statement. It allows us to retrieve information from database table. Okay. In our later video, we will learn how to combine select statements with other statement to perform a more complex query. What I mean from this line here, with the select statement, let's say you want particular column, so you will apply select statement. But sometimes you don't want the all columns, all rows, so then you have to apply certain conditions. Or you can say, let's say you do have a more than 1, 2 or 3 tables, then you have to combine those tables. So how these function can also be used with select statement, that we will learn in our later phase. Select statement syntax. What is the syntax? As you can see here, I have written down as a syntax. First you have to write select, and then whatever your column name is, that column name you have to specify, and then this is the keyword which is from, then you have to apply from, and then you have to apply table name. What is your table name? For example, here I have taken the database example, which is let's say this database called Ashwini. Okay, and in Ashwini database, basically we do have a table. What is database? That we have already discussed. If you haven't watched that particular video, please go ahead and see that particular videos. Let's discuss here what is the let's say I told you Ashwini is the database. In that particular database, we do have 3 tables, which is table 1, table 2 and table 3. In that particular table, let's say in table that you already aware about, these are the columns, right? These are the columns and these are the rows. These are the rows, right? These are the R's and these are the C. Okay, these are the columns. Similarly, we do have a table 2 and table 3, and they do have a different records. Okay, don't go with the column name. Here I have taken example C1, C2, C3. You can take any other example also. It's not it's not the all table has the same column. It's nothing like that. I'm just giving you the little demonstration. So these are your tables. These are your database. Let's see how we can use select statement in our next phase. So in that phase, if you will see here, table 1, table 2 and table 3 is here. And from table 1, let's say I want 2 column only, not C3. I don't want C3 column. I just want C1 and C2. How to write a query for that? Select C1, C2 from table 1. Now you can say, hey Ashwini, why you are writing these in a caps and from in a caps? Look, whatever the SQL keywords is, that we usually write in a caps letter. Why we are writing in a caps? Because it will help you to understand it these are the syntax one. Basically, it's a good way to write a SQL query. Nothing else. If you want all those in a capital letter or in a small letter, you can write. That's not the problem. Okay. And so here what we have done, select, then we have mentioned column name in comma separated format. C1 is our first column, C2 is our second column. Then we apply the keyword which is from, and then we have applied basically table name, right? In a table name, basically these are our from this table we are using, so we have to apply table 1. Okay, in that table 1, so what result we will get? We will get a result like this, like C1. Let's say if I'll talk about the result 1, so it will something like that. Okay, so here we will get C1 and C2. In C3 we will get nothing. Okay, and X, 20, Y, 50 and Z we will get 60. So these results we will get. We will not get C3 column. Similarly, let's say from the table 3.1 I want the all records. So in order to retrieve all record, we have to use strict symbol. This symbol we have to use. Okay, nothing else. If you want a specific column, then you have to mention the specific column name, else you can mention just strict symbol, that's it. For example, select here and then strict symbol from, let's say here I want from the table 2, from table 2. Okay, these should be in caps. So what it will return? It will return C1, C2, C3. Okay, these 3 columns, and as well as 1, 2 and 3, all those rows. Okay, so it will return the all rows and all columns data. Q, R, S, 13, 34 and 56. So it will return the all data. Okay, so that's how select statement works. Now let's go to the PG admin and practice the same. Okay. Now friends, we are on basically on PG admin 1. If you will open PG admin and just open your query editor tool, and then we'll start writing query here. We have learned theory about the select statement. Let's do it practically on PG admin. How are we going to do that? First, as I told you, first we have to write select statement, SELECT, select. And then if you want the all column, then as I told you, you have to mention star. If you want to retrieve the all data from your table, then it's from, again we will write in caps, from, then we have to table name. Let's say here table name is actor, I am taking example. Okay, and now let's run it. Just press F5 and it will run. So now we do have all those data in that column name. Basically in that table we do have a actor ID, and then the first name, last name and the last update. Okay, now let's take an example. Now in a second example, let's take it. I want only first name and the last name. Okay, not the actor ID and their last update. Okay, so what we can do, select, and then we have to mention the column name, which is the first name, first underscore name, comma, and then what was that, second name, right? Last name, last underscore name, from. Now you don't have to mention the comma. Whenever you will mention the last column name, don't put after that, don't put anything like comma and all. Means from, before from, don't mention anything. Okay, from, what is the, from actor, right? let's run this one and let's see what will happen. Now if I run this one, we do have only first name and the last name. Okay, so now you understand select will give you basically the all columns, and but if you want a specific column name, specific column data, you can mention over here also, right? And how to download that I've already told you. Like if you will click on this button, your data will get downloaded. Okay, if you want to save this query, then here will be the save one, right? Save this file. You can just click on save and you can save your this query. Cool. Now let's move forward to the next topic. Now my friends, let's take a challenge. One open question for you. Your business want to send a promotional email to existing customers regarding new offers. How you gonna do, right? Let's say this is the practical example. You are working in a e-commerce company where they sell all those stuff, electronics stuff on their website. In that electronics stuff, some category or some brand has specifically given you the offer and you want to give this promo code to your existing customer. How you gonna do that? That is basically problem statement. What is the solution? Basically, we have to grab three things, which is the first name, last name, and the customer along with their email ID, right? First name of the customer, last name of the customer, and then which email ID we want to send that promotional messages, that also we want, right? Because how you see the promotional message, we see like this, hello, right? Then the first name, and along with the last name, right? Last name. We do have off coupon for you, and coupon code is let's say max 200. Okay, something like that. Now these promotional messages you want to send on your email. What we're gonna do? First, let's say e-commerce website, we do have a sales data or the customer data. Customer table has all those information related to the customer. Let's say their mobile number, their email ID, their first name, last name, their address and all. But we don't want to retrieve all those data. If we want to, to find the solution for that, we want those data where we can run our promotion. So what we're gonna do? Select. We can write select first name, last name, okay, email from customer table, right? Then we will have all those records, right? From that record on email ID, we can send all those promotion and pick the first name and the last name, right? That's how we do. That's how we will solve this particular problem. Okay, now let's come to the another topic, which is the select distinct statement. Now you say, hey Ashwini, what is distinct? Sometimes our column contains duplicate values, but as per our requirement, we need only unique records or unique value. How are we going to do that? Right now we have only used strict or column name. We are not checking whether that particular column has a duplicate rows or not, right? We are not checking that. Might be that there can be a duplicate records in the same. We are not checking that. But we do have a functionality in SQL that we can use distinct in order to find only unique value. Okay? So now we are going to discuss in detail about distinct one. Distinct keyword can be used to return only the distinct value in a column. But for that you have to use keyword distinct. Okay? The distinct keyword operate on a column. The syntax look like this. Syntax will something like this. Select, then along with the select. You have always remember, always your query will start with the select. Most of the time, 90% of the time, you will start your query with the select statement. Okay. Now you use select, and then you will mention distinct. Distinct basically will give you the unique records, whatever column you will mention here, right? Distinct, and then you will mention your column from table, right? That's how we are going to write query for the distinct. Let's see in detail how to do. In order to specify which column distinct is being applied, we can use parenthesis for clarity. Okay, this is not necessary. I mean, sometimes it will work without parenthesis also, but it will give you the more clarity which column you are going to apply. You have used distinct functionality. Okay, distinct keyword. Sometimes it works without a parenthesis, as I told you, but when you use count and distinct together, parenthesis will be necessary. Just note this point. If you are not using count or any other aggregated function, it's fine. Otherwise, if you use count, then you have to use parenthesis. Otherwise, the SQL will give you error. Hope these points are clear. Now let's see. Let's understand with an example how distinct works. Okay. What exactly mean distinct on a column? Let's understand that. Let's say we do have a table in which there is a two column. First column is name and the other column is color choice. In name, basically we do have a different name, which is Tom, David, Ram and David. 2 times David is there. In first rows, Tom has a preference, color choice as a green, David has a green, Ram has a yellow, and again David has a red. Okay. Now I want a unique name. Here you can see David, first time it's appear here and the second time it appears here. When you will have this kind of scenario, then distinct will more handful for you in order to find out the unique values. Now here you can see David record got repeated. Okay. So let's say but my requirement was I want only unique name. Okay. So what we're going to do, we will apply distinct on a name and then we'll have a result something like that. Tom, David, Ram, right? Now, what should be our query for the above table? Select. First we will write select and then we will write distinct. In parenthesis, we will write name from whatever our table is, that table name basically, right? That we will apply. Now you will say, hey, here we don't use count function, but again you have used a parenthesis here. Look, this is the always best practice to use parenthesis, because whether you use count function or not, parenthesis will not harm you anything. It will not give you the error. But when you will have a practice to write something like that in parenthesis, you will not have a problem even you are using count or you are not using a count. That's why I've used here, nothing else. Hope it's clear to you. Now let's understand what is the count function. We have discussed in our previous video when you use count. Every time I've used count so many times, these words. But let's understand how count function works in SQL. Count function returns the number of input rows that matches the specific conditions of a query. Basically, it returns that particular record. We can apply count on a specific column or just pass count strict in parentheses. It will return the same result. The syntax will be like select count and then in parenthesis column from table, or either you can write this way as I told you, or you can write select count strict from table name. Okay. Both will return the same result. Cool. both will result the same. Both will return the same result. There will be nothing. There will be no difference in that. Either way, you can use that. Now, let's understand with the practical example how it works. Then, once we will finish this theory part, then we'll practice both distinct and count together. Okay? In PG admin. Let's understand this with the more example. Select count name from table, as I have already mentioned. This is simply returning the number of rows in a table. This also I have already explained in a previous slide. It will be the same regardless of column, because each column has the same number of rows. Why both strict and the column name is giving you the same result? The reason behind that is this logic. Because column will be the same, right? Whether you are using strict, the column record will be the same. Whether you are using column name or strict one. Strict means they are searching for the all records and giving you the count for the all records, right? So here name Tom, David, Ram and David, right? And then the color choice is green, yellow and red. Now if I want count of that particular record, then it will return 4. Whether I will use count strict or count on name or either on color choice, always it will return 4, right? Whether I will use select, let's say this one is my table 1, let's say table name is table 1, and if I have to write the query for the same, either I can write select count strict from table 1. Either I can write this way, this is our first way, and the second way is select count, and then you have to mention the column name, which is in case name from table 1, right? So both the query will return same number of count. Hope it's clear to you now. Now count is much more useful when combined with the other commands such as distinct one. Let's take an example. We wanted to know how many unique names are there in the table. Okay. Now let's say we have learned how only count is useful. Now let's understand how to use distinct count altogether. Let's see that. Let's say you do have a name called Tom, David, Ram and David and their color choice. We have already seen this table. Now apply select distinct count. First we will write select count because we wanted to know how many unique name, means name of the count we want, right? So that's why we use count, and then we use distinct on the name column, right? We do have a name column, distinct to the name column from table. And what it will return? Basically it will return something like that. Tom, David, Ram, because why it has removed one David? This record, why it has removed? Because it has removed this record. When we use distinct function, first it will run this query, then it will find out the distinct name. Then distinct name, what will be the distinct name? Tom, David and Ram. Okay, then they pick those records and their corresponding color choice, which is green, green and yellow. Here you can say green is appearing 2 times. We haven't used distinct on the color choice. If we have used distinct on the color choice, then we will have only green column, 1 green, 1 yellow and 1 red. But this time we have used distinct on the name column. That's why it has removed David. Cool? Now you understand this one. So friends, we have discussed what exactly count is and what exactly distinct function is. Now let's do the practical example. Let's write the query in query editor and let's see how the both of the things are working together. Okay. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use distinct function. Here what I have done, I have written here, you can see select this one, distinct and the first name. Here select, then I have used distinct, and then distinct on what? Basically on the first name from actor. Okay, if I run this and then semicolon. What semicolon does? Semicolon basically terminate that particular query here. I have a starting writing query here and terminate my query over here. So that's why we use semicolon. If you want to terminate your query, don't want to run the other query, then always use semicolon to terminate your existing query. Okay, let's run this one and let's see what kind of result we are getting. So we are getting 128 records, right? Means these all first name are the unique record. Earlier when we are using actor one, let's take actor one and let's see how many records were coming. It was around 200 records. But when we use distinct one, then we have how many records? We have 128 records. That means the rest of the record were duplicate, right? So all duplicate records has been removed. Now these are my only unique first name. So that's how you can do that. Now let's see how count works. We have also seen count theory. Here we will do the count, basically the practical work, how count works. Nothing, as I have explained you. First you have to write select and then you have to write count, and count for which column you want to apply. You want to apply first name, or also you can directly write strict. Both will give you the same result. Let me show you that also. Then you have mentioned from and then your table name. So if I run that, 200 is coming, right? And then I have done with only count strict. Then see how many records are coming. You can see here also 200 record came when I execute this particular query. So both are the same way that I have already explained you in a theory part. Here in practically you can see the both of the example also. Now let's talk about the distinct with count, how it works. Because distinct value basically we most of the time we use to find out the unique value, but it is very helpful along with the count one. How to do that? Already I have explained you in a theory part what is the syntax and how to write it. But again here, let's see. First we will write select and then we'll write count, and then in count basically we will write distinct one. As I told you, when you will use count, then with the distinct you have to use this parenthesis. Here if you will not use the parenthesis, it's fine. It's a good practice to write parenthesis, as I told you, but let me show you that also whether it work or not. Let's check it. Distinct first name, let's remove this one also, this one also from actor, right? From actor, so run this query, it works fine, right? But if you will remove here distinct first name, then maybe you will get the error which I have explained you in my theory part. Let's run this query whether it runs or not. Oh, it runs perfectly fine. So yes, without even parenthesis it works in a PostgreSQL. If it doesn't work on your particular database, which is the MySQL and Oracle one, please use parenthesis, but in PostgreSQL it works perfectly fine. But here you have to use parenthesis, because first what parenthesis does, basically first it tells you you have to run this one first, this will execute first, then it will return that result, and then on top of that count will run, right? So again I have to run this one and then we will have a 128 record. So what we does here, select, Then we write count. Why we count? Basically the first name count, we want the distinct count of the first name, means how many unique first name is there in our table, in actor table. How many records are unique? So 128 actors are the unique one. From this query we get this thing. Okay. Hope count and distinct count both are clear to you. If you do have any question, please comment on my comment section. Please comment on that, and we'll reply you. If you do have any confusion, I will try to reply you as soon as possible. If you like this video, please hit the like button and share with your friends. And hey, don't forget to subscribe my channel. See you in the next video. Thank you.